How's it going, everybody? Not sure if anybody's on. I see 2 concurrent viewers. Welcome to the Monday live stream. As usual, I'm James. I'm the host here. Can you really be hosting something if you're the only person in it? I guess so. How's everybody's week been so far? Got Monday over with? Everybody have a good weekend? Not sure if anybody's actually here. It's showing 0 viewers, so I may be talking to myself. Well, if anybody is there, today we're going to be continuing to work on some of the projects I'm bringing to MRRF. None of them are specific MRRF projects, I guess, but they are ones I'm hoping to have done in time for MRRF. Last week we did some work on the Neo Geo cabinet. Since then I've printed the door that we designed last week, and I verified that the pieces fit. They needed a little bit of filing to get them to cooperate, but you can see I got my power button, my power jack, and the volume knob was just fine. That's the piece we test printed last week. So there's the test print. That was just sort of a cutout of the piece. And I made a couple small adjustments since then, and so you can see the back. The fan shroud part here did turn out a little sloppy. It'll be fine because it's on the inside, but I think probably could use some supports underneath there. So that'll take a 40mm fan. I ordered a bunch of fans though, and unfortunately I've got 1 or 2 40mm, but the rest are 30mm. So I'll probably release a version of this that takes a 30mm. And this is designed to fit the Raspberry Pi, which I've got my dead version somewhere. I've got a Raspberry Pi that died on me, unfortunately. I've actually got 2 of them that died at this point. I don't know where I stuck it now. I was thinking, oh, I'm not going to use that at all today. And there it is. So, yeah. Pi mounts up like that. Should direct the fan right over top of the processor, which is there. And there's a slot in the back, so you've got the micro SD card accessible even when it's together. So if you want to do a software update or whatever, no big deal. And there's enough room in this panel that we could add Ethernet and USB to the bottom. No problem there. So my goal is with this design to make it sort of as flexible as possible so that people want additional features. It's not a big deal for me to add them or for them to add themselves. So empty space down here, empty space up here. Plenty of ventilation, but not big enough that you can stick your fingers through there. Hey Adam, how's it going? So, this project's basically done other than the wiring. I did some test fitting. I'm going to have to probably modify the screen a little bit. Because, second here. I only realized after the fact I didn't really leave a way to easily mount it. In the previous, like my other mini arcade cabinet, I just hot glued the screen into place. But I'll probably try and add a support bracket here so you can screw it together. It just makes it easier to take apart and put back together. And that's pretty much it. But so I built this specifically to take a Raspberry Pi. I've also now made a version of this that'll take an Orange Pi PC. You guys know that I tend to bounce back and forth between the two, and I was doing my testing with my old Orange Pi PC that I used to use for retro gaming on the TV. So this is one of my first prints, or you can see the blue tape still on it, from this SimpleBot, the PrinterBot Simple Metal. And it's designed to go together with no screws. Things were a little tight, but I managed to get them to fit, and it's got this nice little flip-open door. So, and that's now running the latest version of Retro Orange Pi, which is, I think, 4.4, which is a version or 2 behind from RetroPie, but yeah. I've got the buttons wired. Not cleanly, mind you, but they are wired up and ready to go. Sorry, I'm just trying to see what you guys can see. Yeah, so you can see the wiring in underneath there. Decent amount of space. I probably could have made the cabinet a little bit thinner, but why tempt fate? I actually haven't tried to test fit it together with the screen in the back, so should probably do that just to make sure that like the fan shroud isn't gonna hit the screen or something silly like that. Rather find out now than in crunch time. But I think that'll probably be just... Oh yeah, it doesn't even get close. We'll be fine. How is Mad Mike tonight? Well, somebody just tossed me a like. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate those. So we're going to take a look at the other project that it's something I started working on a long time ago, and it's gone through a couple iterations. I haven't been happy with it so far, but I think the current version is one that I'm pretty happy with. Those that have been chatting with me for a while know that I'm super into 3D printing, and I'm also not just into retro gaming, but also retro computers. So, let's see if Fusion loaded up here. Yeah, you need something that can take the pounding. I gotcha. Let's see, Fusion. So there's been a lot of like Nintendo Mini, Super Nintendo Mini. There's been a Sega Genesis Mini. There's been this guy here, which is a Commodore 64 Mini that I picked up on clearance a couple of weeks ago. Trying to think what other minis there's been. Neo Geo Mini, obviously. Lots of miniaturizations, and there hasn't, as far as I know, been much in the way of like IBM compatible miniatures. So I figured I'd give a shot at trying to fix that. So I've been working on, I'm just trying to get this in position for the big reveal. And we should be able to just do that. So I've been working on this guy, which is a recreation of a 286 IBM PS2. The monitor's a little bit different because I didn't want to waste a ton of plastic. Hey Andrew! 3D Printing Llama's here. Mike's here. Josh is here. Other Mike's here. Vince is here. Let me know if I miss anybody. I try to say hi to everybody. So this is where I'm at with this. Now, one of the key things that I'm doing on it is I found this. Yeah, there you go. Mike knows exactly what it is. This is a USB to floppy drive adapter. So I've got a ton of extra floppy drives, and it connects through USB and it puts out 5 volts for the floppy drive. So I want to maybe try and test tonight to make sure that if I install like Armbian or something on an Orange Pi or a Raspberry Pi, that I can actually communicate with the floppy drive with this. That's exactly what that is, Steve. So before I go into all the effort, because I am going to model in a functioning floppy drive bay into the front of this, right where it normally be. Also, I'm going to try and model in a power switch the same way the original power switch is, and there's going to be an activity light for the hard drive, which actually just reads off the activity light on the Pi. So give me 2 seconds. I'm just going to go grab a floppy drive. I'm hoping by next week, I'm going to spend next Wednesday getting things better organized here. So I've got a original, I don't know, this is a no-name brand floppy drive. But it's got pin 1 marked, so we should be able to just hopefully jam that in there. Put that together like that. Theoretically, that should be now accessible like any USB storage device. It's a 3.5. I couldn't find... Not that... So the original design of this only takes a 3.25 anyways. I have been looking for a way to adapt a 5.25 just because I have a few machines that run on 5.25s that I have floppies for, but I don't have boot disks for. So I was looking for something that would allow me to write 5 1/4 through USB, and so far all the USB devices I found are read-only. So unfortunately, okay. So what are we gonna test this on? I need something that this I guess is gonna be a little more complicated than I thought, because I need something I can actually interface with. Hey, red light. Oh, hi, Becky. How are you? I'm sorry that we missed you. Hopefully the next time... I mean, we're definitely going to see you by the end of the year. I mean, that's pretty much set in stone. So... I was going to say, hopefully next time we will see you, but we will see you next time. I need a USB extension cable. One more second. I've got one in a drawer here. Oh, I missed something. I'm not gonna make it. Not gonna make it. Somebody donated some out and I did not see it. Sound off in chat, because I missed it and I don't like missing it. It was just bad timing on my part that I stepped away for that split second. And I apologize. Where are you, USB extension cable? I was literally looking at it last night. Well, you guys all know my organizational skills are pretty atrocious. See, I have a hub, but I don't think it's really... The cables aren't really long enough, so I prefer to do this all on the desk. Oh, there it is. I knew I had one somewhere. Okay, let's see. For those who don't know, who don't follow him on... Oh, first of all, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Those who know, Steve is the... do you go by Steve or Steven? I'm sure we've had this discussion before, but... Steven was the first person to build a replica of my full-size arcade cabinet. And his, I would say, arguably turned out better than the original one. It's a really long USB extension cable, but it's of questionable quality. But hey, let's see if I can get floppy access, or if the live stream suddenly dies because I just blew up my streaming computer, you know, have a good one. Nothing happened. Oh, I mean it. You're certainly turned out more polished. You got the colors right. I didn't even hear a chime to say it detected something. Oh, I have a USB extension cable already run up here. Oh. It lit up. I have a floppy drive listed. Is it silly of me to put this much effort into it? Like a functioning floppy drive on a replica? Is it going too far or just far enough? What do you guys think? I need to go get a floppy disk, which I definitely know where they are. Give me 2 seconds. Ugh. Got a few floppies here. Yes, but who cares? What do we got here? How about a MS-DOS 6.22 floppy? Let's see if it'll read. I think if it doesn't read, it's probably the drive and not the disk. Oh, nope. Fired right up. Hello, Mr. Buttram. I will put USB on the back, most likely. Well, it read the disk. So I guess the other question is it going to work on... Now, I'm assuming if it works on Windows, it'll probably also work on Linux /Armbian / whatever. I have an Orange Pi running over there that I could try mounting it on and see what happens. Bear with me for one more second while I go plug this into my other setup, and then we'll fire up a putty session. Okay. I also had a Commodore 64 with the 300 baud modem. It was the cartridge style one that plugged into the back, and I did a little BBSing, but it wasn't anything huge. Okay, so I'm gonna add another capture for. Actually, let me double check on chat. I am planning to have Commander Keen, Space Quest, Leisure Suit Larry. What else am I going to have on here? I don't know. I'm going to have everything. Okay, we're going to add Putty. Perfect. So what's everybody working on? What have you guys been up to? Tonight's stream's probably going to be a little bit shorter. I'm trying to get into like the routine of making sure that everything's ready to go. In this case, I came downstairs and my streaming computer was off again. I'm going to have to build a new one, but I don't have the money to do it right now. So I'm using a first generation i7 that was donated by Adam. Usually Larry's one of my favorites. Password. What is my password? Nailed it. Let's go take a look at dev. Disk, maybe? I don't even know. SDD? I've never connected a floppy drive to a Linux box, so I'm going to have to figure out how to determine it. Access floppy drive Armbian. Okay, well, we'll do a make dir slash media slash floppy. See if there's an FD here. Okay, so let's do mount media slash floppy. Wait. Slash dev slash FD0 slash media slash floppy. Does not exist. Oh, it's gonna suck if it's write only or read only. It totally is read only. Sorry, I don't have chat visible right now. Give me 2 seconds because you guys are probably... Yeah, you guys are firing instructions. I think so. There are instructions, so let's do... To have reroute access to floppies, you can do one of the following steps. So let's go to... There's nothing there, so... No. I'm gonna split this, I guess, between that and chat so I can keep an eye on everybody. I think I have AutoFS installed. Is unmount? No. How do I unmount? Unmount. Oh. Derp. Ant colony. Okay, so I know I can access read-only, but how am I mounting this? I need one more monitor. Nano slash ET slash modules. Is there anything actually there? Oh. Make sure the floppy kernel module is loaded. If this is not the case, edit the X modules and add the line for floppy. Okay. Create a folder to mount the floppy to. Chgroup floppy / media / floppy. chmod 750 / media / floppy. Mount with read write. Let's see. AutoFS. Let's do a apt-get AutoFS. Oh, apt. Oh, I just realized it's not displaying putty. Sorry, guys. Putty. That must have been boring as hell. Okay, AutoFS. Did I just install AutoFS? All of my life, people have liked the sound of my voice. It's true. It's just text on a black screen. So the truth is, I don't even know if that was going to be read-write even over here, right? You know what just occurred to me? That floppy? No, I don't think it's read-only. I'm gonna go stick this disk in there, though. Ha! That disk was read-only. Might have been fighting with this for nothing. So, for those who don't know, in case this is before anybody's time, there's a switch on old school floppies that allow you to make it read-only so that you don't accidentally overwrite your crucial data. And being that that's an MS-DOS disk, it automatically did that. So let's go ahead and try mount/dev. Actually, if I go back through my commands, it should still be here. Was it DF? Doesn't show my floppy in here, unfortunately. Okay, well, now we're getting somewhere. So the drive is HD, and so is the disk, but I've got HD and high density and double density disks. umount /media/floppy. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just typing what you tell me to. Do you like how trusting him? Brian C said to try something, so let's try it. Okay, what I'm going to do for now, though, I'm going to go take that floppy disk out, and I'm going to bring it back over here and plug it into my computer and make sure the files are actually on it. Because if it actually created the file and the file is editable on my computer, then I'm going to suggest that we go ahead and start modeling this sucker in. So, floppy drive, cue that USB connection music, dun 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 dun. Considering it's still showing that it's connected over there, I'm not particularly hopeful. Okay, well, so the device is at least read and write, so we know that it works for that. I know that it was readable when I connected to it, so I was able to access stuff on it. I haven't done any of that because that was the first time I had actually connected it to anything. I just wanted to make sure it was going to work before we put in the extra effort of modeling changes around the cabinet. Because this whole device here that I'm using to connect to is a little iffy to begin with. She's really hugging on there. Like, so I ordered this, and it actually came with the wires hot glued into place as strain relief. So, I can see one of the soldering points doesn't look fantastic. I don't know if it'll show up on camera, but one of the soldering points almost looks like a cold solder point. Regardless, it worked. Yes, that's part of the reason I'm doing it, so we get the sound effects. Okay, so I need my calipers, which I thought were right here. They're there. Okay, so we need to take some measurements off this guy. I'm going to go ahead and close the putty session for now. Gets us back to Fusion. I think if you're talking about on YouTube, I think LGR already did that. So this thing's 107 millimeters across. Just gonna open up a notepad window, and so floppy drive, 100.7 millimeters wide, and 24.5 millimeters tall. We'll have to add some tolerance around that. The button is 5 by 14.5 or 14.5 by 5. This is going to be tricky, so there'll probably be some test prints involved. I'm going to try and make sure I have a mounting mechanism that works before we get too crazy with it. So the real thing is going to be trying to figure out where the screw holes are. So I guess you guys can't really see what I'm doing. I do have another camera I'm going to set up that points like towards me that'll give a better view of stuff. I just have not had a chance. So it looks like the top of that screw is 5.7. And that's a 3 millimeter, so we'll probably give it a little extra space for it. And then from the front of the drive, we're looking at 26.3. Okay, so we got some basic measurements. So what we can do is we can jump into Fusion 360. Oh, and the actual floppy drive entrance. $90.7. And wait, is it 90.7 or did I mess this up? Hold on. No, 90.7. And then 6.5 millimeters down. .3 tall. Wow. 4.3 tall and 6.3 down. Okay, so I think the first thing I'm going to do is model the actual floppy drive, if I can. So, let's see. And the floppy drive in question is called 144 millimeters. 144 millimeters by, I think I got that recorded already. Okay, so let's start off by just doing a rectangle here. We'll go ahead and create it on this face so it's the right way. And we're looking at 100.7 by 24.5. Make it 144 millimeters long. Okay, so then go ahead and put the hole in the front of it. So it's 6.3 down. I'm going to go ahead and start from the middle, so we'll do divide by 2. And sorry. How tall was it? 6.3 down, 4.3 tall. So let's do 6.3 plus 4.3 divided by 2. And from there, we can create a rectangle that accounts for the hole our floppy goes into. So I'm going to start off with a center point one. And it is 4.3 tall and 90.7 wide. And let's just make it minus, I don't know, 90. So far, so good. Then we need to add a button. Top of the button is 8 millimeters, so let's go ahead and add line across the bottom here that is 8 millimeters tall. Then from the inside, we're looking at 14.8. And then, what were we? The button is 14 by 5. 5 and 14. And when extended, call it 6.5. 6.5. That looks about right so far. Next, we're going to add in the optical, the light, that is. Okay, so the light is 4.4 from the bottom. Confirm I got that right. Close enough. It's 20.4 from the side. And then the light is 5 by 2.5. Sorry, I gotta make sure I get this right. Yeah, that's right. Oh, one of the sketches still must be active here. Nope. There we go. I guess we might as well add the additional details too. So if we add another square in, is everybody chatting still? Chat may not be updating. I was having issues before, or you guys might just be quiet. It was 36.5. We'll do 36.5 again this way. It's just quiet. That's okay. Okay, then cross this way. That's completely fair. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. And 3. Can I add, if I leave that like that, I don't know if I can add a chamfer without, no. Let's go ahead and minus 0.5. And then we'll bring that sketch back so I can do a minus 0.5. And then we'll add a chamfer. Distances, and we're gonna go 4 and 8, 9, 12, no, 10, 11, 10.5, 10.8, 10.9. What do you think? Does that look like a floppy drive? I do collect PC parts. That's the other thing I collect, which I don't have enough space for either for 3D printing and it, but I do it anyways. Okay, so now we need to add the screw holes. Top of screw is 5.7. So we'll do a Oh, really? That'd be cool. Is it a surprise, or do I get to ask what you're bringing? Top screw is 5.7, back of screw is 26.3. Okay, so that is fair. I've got a couple of those too. This one's just a specific one I picked up for this build, but I've got a couple for getting data across, so I'm set that way. There's one screw hole. Where's the next one? I might as well add the rest in, right? Next one's at 86.1. Wait, what was it? Next one is at 86, it looks like. Shenanigans here. Well, I love you too, Sean. I hope I get to see you at MRRF. So doing it this way, it puts the hole all the way through to the other side, so I don't have to try and figure out the rest. Looks like the next one's at 116. Ugh. Ugh. And let's do 116. Circle. This guy and this guy. 1.5. And minus 200 again. Get rid of that sketch. And there, for better or for worse, is our floppy drive. Can make it a little more detailed if we want. We can go, let's see, 130. Oh, that's not too bad for a little bit of work, guys? Okay, so now that we have our floppy drive, and I'm going to rename it floppy here. 3D Print Viking is here. How's it going? Okay, so we need to move this down here. I haven't quite figured out how it's going to go in yet, but we're going to figure it out. Probably come this way a little bit more. Call it 3. Needs to come back a little. So it's got to have enough room to get the floppy out. I guess I could line it up so that the actual button sticks out enough to eject, but probably not going to be easy to do. Okay, well let's start there. And I'm going to hide this main body. What I'm going to hopefully do is just... Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on. You okay, bud? Making sure you're okay. And now I'm back from outer space. Okay, so here's my plan. Extend that out, bring this back. So that more or less shows me where it's going to show up. I'm not going to do that yet, though, because I think I need to bond this back together beforehand. There we go. Okay, so it's not... I mean, it'll never be perfect because it's not going to be life-sized, but that doesn't look too bad. Let me see if I can get my reference picture back up of this IBM PS2. I think I might want it a little bit higher. Oh, but if I put it up higher, then the button's not going to be accessible. I think that's probably form and function together. What do you guys think? And then we'll, let me see. If I go from here to here, 6.3, so then if I go from here to here, I do 6.3. And I forget how big this space is. Let's just call it 2. I think 2 will be close enough. Well, it's strung on the angle though, isn't it? That's okay. There's another way to make this happen. Let's do finish sketch. Chris Riley is here. From his basement to your YouTube account? I don't know. How you doing, buddy? I miss chatting with you, Chris. I don't remember the last time we had a talk. I'm afraid basically every message I send you is, hey, look, this is what I'm working on, which it's got to be annoying for you. 37.890. $37.89. I mean, we said that about Earth, and I think we talked for like all of 30 seconds. It's just too busy, these things. Not a complaint. I'm so thankful to know so many people in this community. It's just hard to give anybody the time they deserve. How inset is that? Let's do an inspection. 1.9. Okay, we can fix that. Oh. Must have grabbed an old sketch by accident. So which sketch is still visible? All of these guys. Okay, well that turned out pretty decent, I think. Let's go ahead and hide the floppy. Oh. Let's do a... So we're going to do combine, but then I'm going to change this to cut. And I'm going to say I want to cut this body with my floppy drive, but I also want to keep the tool. So what this says is remove everything where these two, where this is intersected by this, using this as the floppy drive as the cutting tool. And I tell it, so it's basically going to punch a hole where this button is. And then by saying keep tool, it doesn't then delete the floppy model. So now, if I hide the floppy drive, there's a hole where that button is. So then I'm going to make this hole bigger. I want to add tolerances to it. Let's go for a full 1 millimeter tolerance. Just like that. And we can remove, I don't know, 10 should do it. So then if we put the floppy drive back, you can see the button's now centered. There's a nice hole for it to go through. And if I have to print like a little cap or whatever to go over top of it, then it's not a big deal. Do you guys think that keeps enough of the original design that people will get what it is, but also, you know, allows us to have a functioning floppy drive in a miniature? I guess the other thing is I have to make sure there's still enough room for the Raspberry Pi in here. So Where's the Raspberry Pi gonna go? $1 million question. So it's 54 wide. Let's call it 55 by 85. So I need to have enough room for 55 by 85. It'll just make it there. Okay, I'm thinking here. I also have to make sure that off the back of here there's enough room for the wiring for this guy. So we need at least another 58 behind it. Okay, so you have 66 behind. That should be fine. What about for thickness? Not really enough room for me to put the Pi off the back. There's no super easy way for me to do this. I'm just looking at the Pi here. So ideally I want the HDMI, the audio, and probably not the power. I'm probably going to power it through the GPIO, but I need these two exposed. So I guess if I mount it from the top... Oh, and the thing is I also need the USB internal. So that complicates things. Does it though? No, it doesn't have to, because I'm going to mount the Pi to the bottom of this guy, I think. Then I just have to make sure that I leave enough room for the micro USB card. Okay, so other things I want to do. The screen is not permanently mounted on top. No, the screen's going to be its own separate thing. So finish sketch. I'm going to hide the top of this for now. Let's make it 5 millimeters, and we'll do a new body like that. Then hopefully I can just do a move bodies and select this guy. We're gonna make a copy of him, so I'll click create copy over here. Then we can drag it down. Like so. And then to make sure everything lines up, I'm going to do the final movement as point to point. I'm going to select that circle there. And that circle there. And that should be that. And then hopefully, yeah, none of those are poking through. So now we want to integrate these into the main case. So we'll do a modify, combine. We'll select this, this, and this. Change this back to join because it was still uncut from before. And bam. So we now have mounting spots for our floppy drive, which unfortunately is going to be super tricky to get to. That's not going to be fun. So my first test print will probably be to cut just the floppy section out of this and see if everything fits together. I've been tracking down filament for this build, so I'm going to order some on Wednesday. And it's more expensive stuff, but I think it's worth it to do a good job on it. Okay, so now for the bottom of this guy. I want it offset by let's say 0.4. We'll go ahead and make the bottom, I don't know, 4 millimeters is probably good. 4 millimeters thick. Like that. Did it just blend it into one piece? Did I go the wrong way with the offset, maybe? Point 4. If anybody sees what I'm doing wrong, you know, just point it out. Finish. Maybe I started in the wrong spot. Point 4. There we go. There, that's what I was expecting. Next we'll do... Oh, why did it separate those again? Oh, I know why. Hold on. I forgot to check off Keep Tool, so it actually recreated copies of those guys. Okay, so then we're going to start working on the bottom here. Which, let's hide everything. Get rid of whatever sketch is still showing. That's not too shabby. Let's do, come on. Let's add some screw holes to this guy. $45. Not bad. I mean, it's terrible, but it's not bad. Not bad, how are you? I was gonna try and get a sponsor for this project for the filament, but I still feel really weird reaching out to people for stuff, so I didn't. Which is weird, because everybody I've reached out to so far in the past, and the people that have reached out to me have all been so freaking awesome. Now, if I remember correctly, these guys were indented on the original one, so let's, and like fairly indented, so let's do 7.5. Do -2. Then I think they were chamfered. That feels more or less right to me. Anybody here bringing a project to Murph? The only thing I haven't worked in is a power switch because I haven't quite figured that one out yet. Robin Mac, do 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 do, Robin Mac, diddle 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 do. I'm gonna start wrapping things up here in about 10 minutes. Got an early morning tomorrow. Pretty satisfied with the progress we made tonight, though. I think we're off to a good start. Better late than never. I think the electronics in this are gonna be a little on the tight side. Okay, so let's do 5-5. A lot of 3mm circle there. We'll do finish sketch, and then I'm hoping, actually what we're gonna do is then six. 6 millimeters tall. So what I'm hoping I can do now is then move this pie into position using that as the anchor point. So we're going to do a right click on the pie. We'll do where are you, move. Apparently I'm blind tonight. Point to point. Origin point, we're gonna pick this circle. Destination point. Gonna pick the circle mount that I just created. Now, the biggest snag of all is going to be how tight it gets in terms of the floppy connector. Actually, it shouldn't be bad with this one because, yeah, the floppy connector is not there. It's on the other side, but for other people recreating this project afterwards, that might be a pain in the butt. I think that'll be fine, though. What do you guys think? Yeah, that'll happen. Oh, that's not the way I want it to rotate at all. I want to see how close to the back we are here. Call it 8. Then, I wonder, can I do offset? Call it 2. I think that should be big enough to take a regular HDMI cable. There's our audio. I don't know about good work, but I'm hard-headed enough to just keep going until it works. I'm going to give it a save now before I screw it up. Okay, we're just about to shut it down, but since Robbie Mac just came in, I might as well bring everything back to show it off. So I present for the, well, not the first time, but the first time for Robbie Mac, the IBM PS2 Mini. So it's inspired by an actual design. It's not going to be, like a one-to-one creation, because I wanted to be able to put an actual floppy drive. And if the floppy drive isn't miniature, but the rest of it is, well, that's the way it goes. I'm going to add some connectivity off the back. Actually, one of the things I need to order before we go is I want to get a USB to 15-pin joystick adapter, so that I can have an actual joystick, so you can connect old school joysticks to it. Yeah, just about. USB to joystick adapter. USB to joystick adapter 15-pin. It's a $25 investment. The $25 investment, I don't even know for sure it's going to do what I want it to. I'm going to leave it up to you guys in chat. Should I or shouldn't I? Is it worth the effort? Is it worth the effort so I can connect up all my old... I have... I've got a few of these guys. So these guys use that old school 15-pin interface. These things were a big deal back in the day. This is actually the newer version. I'm going to do a little bit of digging tonight and see if I can find a cheaper version of it, maybe on eBay or whatever. That's just me checking on AliExpress. So... that is true. So here's the other thing. I'm waiting for it to come in, but I am also going to model the original mouse, which is this... let me see. I'll just toss up a link to the image on it. So I'm going to model up... That's too many characters. Son of a gun. There we go. Hold on. I'm going to model up this mouse, except for I'm going to model it around the guts from an just a Amazon basic $10 mouse. I'm going to rip the guts out of it, model the electronics up, and then build the mouse around it. It'll be a full-size mouse. I'm not going to be able to do the keyboard. I think the keyboard would be too much work, to be honest. I don't think I could get it to go right. I was going to try and track down an old IBM PS2 keyboard, the heavy ones, and they're too expensive. It's like $100 and some bucks just for the keyboard, and this is, it's a little project. It's going to be smaller, I think, than the Neo Geo cabinet, maybe about the same size. But that is the goal, to build a mouse that matches with it. So... well, I think that's where we'll leave it off tonight. I'm going to try and print a test piece for this floppy drive before next week so we can revisit it or at least show it off next week. If that fits, then we're like 3/4 of the way there, because that's the most complicated, or one of the most complicated things. I'm going to get a panel mount USB so I can add a couple of USB ports to the back. I'll need one to power the screen anyways, and then I don't know. I haven't figured it all out yet. There's still some question marks. I haven't figured out what the power input on here is going to be, whether I want to make it so it takes a... do I have one handy? A standard 3-pin, like the power that a regular desktop gets. Haven't decided if that's the route we're going to go or not, but... Anyways, thanks for hanging out for the hour and a half that we were here. We're going to pick it up more or less here next week, hopefully with some test prints to see how it's going to go. I want to have this done well ahead of MRRF. It's not, like I keep referring to it as a MRRF project. This is stuff I've been working on anyways. MRRF, I'm not in a panic to specifically finish any projects this time around. I'm going to bring in what I've finished since IRF. I do have a big project planned for IRF this year. I've been talking a little bit with the organizers and stuff, where I let them know I have a really cool project that we're going to put out. Hopefully we're going to be able to get a space set up for it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. There'll be more info later on. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys next week. If this is your first week here, I think everybody here has been here before, but if your first week here, I do this every Monday, or I try to do this every Monday. You know, health and weather and all that stuff permitting. So, yeah, I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks for swinging by. Robbie Mac, are you going to be at MRRF this year? Sorry, I know I'm on my way out, but just as a quick question. I'm just curious. And yes, by all means, hit the thumbs up. I likes me some thumbs ups. Okay, well, I'll keep an eye on chat for a sec, but I'll go ahead and hop out. I will see you guys next week. Have a good week, and thanks for hanging out.